Welcome to what some might consider the unlikely home of a world-class gas turbine service industry in Fort St. John, Northwest Canada. S&S Turbines and Maddex Turbines are partnered together to service engines from around the world, powering fighter jets, massive Navy frigates, and moving natural gas through thousands of miles of pipeline. They even find application in actual power generation. A gas turbine is an insanely complex machine that has to run perfectly the entire time it's in use. And keeping a 20 to 30-year-old turbine running like it just came off the assembly line is no simple task. Imagine the power and precision these engines have to operate at to move a massive ship.
Well, we're here to find out and to interview the people whose passion for these incredible machines have kept the world's turbines running for 30 years.
Started off very modestly selling parts out of my basement. It was just me and a chair and a fax machine, so we started off very modestly. I started the company back in 1997 after working 18 and a half years with a local natural gas company. And over the years, they became West Coast Energy, Duke Energy, Spectra, and of course now they're Enbridge. At that time, I was supervising their turbine overhaul facility, and we maintained all of their turbines in-house. And then in 1997, I started my own company. I left the gas company. And over the years, we've grown. We built a facility here in Baldonnel, and of course this test facility here at the Fort St. John Airport. Starting off originally with just servicing the General Electric turbine engines. Enbridge, of course, at that time had about 60 turbine engines on their various pipeline systems. They really helped establish S&S Turbines in the beginning. I sold them many parts kits for the overhaul of their turbines, so that really got us going. And over the years, that has expanded to where now we have 5 different divisions, associate companies, and we work on not only industrial turbines, but now military aircraft, military ship engines, as well as industrial turbine engines. We've specialized ourselves in the support of the mature turbine product lines, the older turbine models, specifically in General Electric, and then we grew into Rolls-Royce. When our original facility was at full capacity, I encouraged one of my senior employees to start his own business. And that became the foundation for Maddex Turbine Services. So Brian Madigan started Maddex, and then originally I just sent my overflow to his facility. I like to grow a business to where it's at maximum comfort. And then we will spin off an associate business, send them our overflow initially, and then eventually they become a standalone business. So now we have Maddex Turbine Services, we have Jet City Turbines, Turbalon, Cogent Turbine Systems. So we have all of these associate businesses that we all work together in a synergistic method to support all these mature turbine product lines. So the growth of I like to call it the S&S group of companies. They are standalone businesses. The S&S influence over those companies has really helped grow them into multiple businesses. So do I get a satisfaction from these engines? Yes, absolutely. Specifically, the one-off jobs, the special jobs. They'll send us a basket case, not to be facetious, but we like to do the impossible. We took these engines which were deemed non-economical for repair and impossible to repair. They'd been flooded with seawater and then sat for several months in a contaminated type environment. And we successfully repaired those engines. So it shocked the military marine world when we took these engines, and not only did we successfully repair them, but they're running quite well. This particular model of Rolls-Royce product is very mature in its design. It's not an easy engine to work on. Parts are in short supply, and the Rolls-Royce group of companies has backed away from that product support. So that leaves about 40% of the world's navy's fast attack ships wanting support for that product line. So again, we were approached by a European nation to repair one of these turbine engines. Of course, they're testing us, so they sent us the very worst. And we encourage that. That's been part of our business philosophy. We say, send us the worst. Send us the worst engine you have. We'll show you we can do it. So generally they do. They test us. They'll send us the worst engine they have. And we successfully repaired, overhauled, test run the engine. And it's in the frigate and it's operating well. So again, that really raised the awareness of the world's navies that, hey, maybe the S&S group of companies do know what they're doing. We're not General Electric. We're not Rolls-Royce, and we've never portrayed ourselves as such. A lot of our competitors really portray themselves as GE Light or Rolls-Royce Light. That's not us. You want something out of the box, you want something completely different, send the engine to us. We'll make it run better, more reliable, and more economical than it did originally.
I started my career working at S&S Turbines, and working with Robin Sipe allowed me to really hone my skills and attention on the Rolls-Royce products. We wanted to make sure that our Rolls-Royce clients were looked after just as well as our General Electric clients, and from there that's where Maddex Turbines was established. S&S Turbines is focusing on the General Electric gas turbine engines, and Maddex Turbines specializes in and focuses on the Rolls-Royce gas turbine engines. And from there, each company can hone their skills and their attentions on those product lines while still maintaining a strong relationship and support between the two companies. We keep that relationship strong because it allows us to utilize each other's strengths, and from there, our customers gain a higher quality of gas turbine overhaul. Rolls-Royce no longer supports these gas turbine engines, and that's where, as an independent overhaul facility, we're not dictated by Rolls-Royce or need a Rolls-Royce certification to work on these engines. We provide our own Maddex turbine certification, and from there, what you're getting is pride and quality within that product. We really take it to heart, the opportunity to work with the various clients around the world. And for each and every project, the crew and the staff here at Maddex Turbines really puts their heart and soul into every overhaul and service that we can provide to that client. Our reputation is based on the last engine that leaves our facility. So we want that engine to be our advertising. We can fly all over the world. We can arrange meetings at their facility. Most times the customers like to come and visit our facility. And then we can take them around and we can show them each and every step of the overhaul process, and then make sure that we have a sit-down meeting and we address any concerns that they may have with their particular engine. And we can start recommending whether we just need to overhaul their existing equipment in its natural state, or if there's any improvements that we can do to their engine in order to maybe alleviate some of those issues that they're having with their engines. With Maddex Turbines being located in Fort St. John, it is in the heart of the oil and gas industry. And with that comes the higher standards associated with that industry. We are allowed to tap into those markets and those technologies in order to support our companies. And with that allows us to transfer that high quality into the customer's engines, and the final product is to that standard. Well, the gas turbine industry is a very challenging industry, and that's truly what drives me. I love the challenge of working on these gas turbines. They are very unique in the way that they are assembled and designed, and for me, I absolutely love it. I love trying to figure out how they operate, how to make them better, or when we complete an overhaul and a successful performance testing, to watch the satisfaction of the crew and staff here at Maddex Turbines is by far the best part of my day. You can see the pride in their faces when we complete that successful test, and from there, that's what drives us to work harder and better for the next client. And we're never done pushing the boundaries of what we think is acceptable or what the customer wants. We are always looking to improve. Each component within these gas turbines is just as important as the rest, and we make sure that the detail on everything associated with these gas turbines is to the highest standard that we can provide. For us, actually, it doesn't matter what our customers are utilizing the engines for. It's unique in the fact that they may be utilized in marine applications or industrial applications, but for us, our job is essentially to create horsepower, and our clients get to utilize that horsepower in whatever application they desire.
One of the very first Rolls-Royce engines we ever supported, the client approached us and said, "Can you overhaul this particular model of turbine engine?" I said, "Sure." They said, "Oh, do you have the manuals and the tooling?" I said, "No." They said, "Well, how are you going to do it?" And I said, "It's just a mechanical device. We'll take it apart and we'll build the tooling as we go, and we'll do the job." And they were a bit incredulous, but I have to give them credit. They took a gamble with us. They sent us an engine, and that's precisely what we did. Is we took the engine apart, and when we got stuck on a specific tool, a special tool that we needed to further the disassembly of the engine, we made our own blueprints. We manufactured the tooling ourselves. And to make a long story short, is we successfully overhauled that turbine. It went back to the client, and he was satisfied with the job we did. So that's been part of the S&S philosophy, is we never say no. In the example of General Electric themselves, they still operate 3 of these mature turbine engines in their altitude facility in Evendale, Ohio. And they came to us and they said, "Can you overhaul these engines?" And I said, "Yes. We have a unique requirement. Can you make the engines make more power?" And I said, "Yes, we can." And they said, "Well, how much more power can you make these engines produce?" And I said, 23%. And they said, "Can you do that without a reduction in overhaul turn times?" And I said, "Yes, we can." They took us up on it. That's General Electric themselves. So they sent us the engines. We put our proprietary modifications and upgrades in the engines. And yes, they exceeded all expectations. And to this day, in 2019, they're still operating those turbine engines in their altitude facility. I take a real sense of pride in doing that work, in taking a turbine engine, not only being able to maintain it, but being able to modify it and upgrade it so it actually runs better, more efficiently, and more economically than it did originally. We do that with the mature GE turbines, and we do it with the mature Rolls-Royce product line. We have one of the best warranties in the marketplace. Any product that leaves our facilities, we warranty it for quality of workmanship and materials used. Our reputation with the S&S group of companies is very good. Our warranty claim rate is lower than any of the OEMs. We get asked that all the time. Are you certified by Rolls-Royce? Are you certified by GE? But we stick to our own standards. We're ISO 9001 certified for quality control. So when we work on aircraft engines, yes, we make sure that we certify that all the work is done in accordance with the original OEM manuals. The military ship clients, we ask them to provide what certification they would like us to work to. In this business, as an independent, you live and die by your reputation. And in the 22 years we've been in business, our reputation has allowed us to grow each year. I take a real sense of pride in taking a turbine engine, not only being able to maintain it, but being able to modify it and upgrade it so it actually runs better, more efficiently, and more economically than it did originally. We do that with the mature GE turbines, and we do it with the mature Rolls-Royce product line. In the case of some of these mature turbines, we actually have made all our own blueprints for the line bearings in the engine. We have them manufactured to our specifications, and we're investing heavily into 3D printing technology. So a lot of these mature turbine products that are operating now have our own hot section components directly printed in metal in 3D. So again, we're on the cutting edge of this new technology. Again, some of the OEMs are touting their investment and their abilities in 3D printing, but really we've been ahead of the game by a couple of years. And several turbine engines are operating around the world now with our direct 3D printed hot section components.
Because these are legacy gas turbines, there's situations where we're running out of parts, or there's availability is becoming quite a concern. And for us, it might be a problem or a stumbling block during the overhaul process, but we're never stuck. We always find a solution to the problem, and if that means manufacturing, we just do it. And right now we're 3D printing nozzle segments for the Spays and the Rolls-Royce Tyne engines.
We're constantly looking at how can we improve on these engines. 3D printing technology is becoming much more mainstream. The cost of the printers is coming down, and we're pushing the leading edge of component manufacturing and component repair. When you're making a new component, you're starting with a clean slate. Not only can you make it a replacement part, you can make that replacement part out of better materials, better cooling regimes, better gas path, flow vectors, and so on. Apply today's technology to these older turbines, and again, they just benefit from that advancement in the hot section technologies. And our clients are getting the benefit of this.
I was wondering two things. One, if you could tell me about this engine, but first, where are we and how do things work in here?
Well, we're in Fort St. John, British Columbia, Canada. We're at the Maddex and S&S Turbine Services test facility. And this particular engine is a Rolls-Royce Spey Mark 1900.
You guys put a lot of work into this to making sure that it's right back up to where it was.
Yeah, it goes through a unique process where right from the day it enters our facility, it is accompanied by the same crew through its entire overhaul life. That crew will stay with this engine until the engine is performance tested and accepted by the client. So every detail of the engine is handled by the same dedicated crew at Maddex. And with that, you get a product that looks like this. So that's really important to understand how the engine was operated prior to the overhaul, so that we can address any of those concerns that the client may have had previous to us.
How do you fix a problem that doesn't seem to have a solution at the start?
There's always a solution to every problem. There's nothing that stops us.
What really excites you about this engine?
It's the Rolls-Royce name, you know, it comes with a prestige, and to be able to have a company that overhauls these engines for all clients around the world, it's pretty easy for me to get up in the morning and to go to work and to get to work with the crew that I have on these particular engines. We don't just have one technician that's the expert in this area, right? That's the whole point in the culture that we've developed at Maddex Turbines, is making sure that all of our technicians are familiar front to back. It comes down to the details with these particular engines. How meticulous you have to be in order to work on these is incredible.
Do you ever see, like, are there usual problems? Like, oh, it might be this. Like, or is like every engine you're like, nope, we're gonna start at the start?
No, every engine is unique, but they all have their own issues or problems, right? And that's where you need to know the engine in order to solve those problems.
It looks really complicated. When you're taking them apart and things like that, how do you keep track and don't lose any parts.
We have a quality control system that takes place through Maddex Turbines Overhaul. So everything is accounted for during the disassembly, cleaning, inspection, and then right into final assembly. Everything gets tracked and is documented so that we know that everything has been done according to the Rolls-Royce overhaul standards. And then if the client ever wishes to review that information and says, well, okay, well, how do you know you changed that part? Well, we can go through the logbook and show them the whole procedure of where that started and where it ended.
It doesn't sound like there's a careless moment. You guys know how important these machines are, you know who's counting on them, and you will not let them down.
Absolutely. And that's where the staff that works on this engine, they're dedicated. Their name is all over this engine. And that's the importance from that particular crew staying with the engine from the start to the finish, is that their blood, sweat, and tears are in this engine. They've done everything they possibly can to make this engine the best. We want to be the best, and we will push to be the best, and in my opinion, we are the best.
I've never been one to take revolutionary steps. I believe in slow evolutionary progression of any business. The S&S group will continue to support these mature turbine product lines indefinitely, but we are expanding into other models as well, because let's face it, every year we're getting a little older, and so are the turbine engines.
And for us to continue to support these engines for a long duration of time, for the next 10 years, is important to us. And with the development and the technologies that we have available today, we're able to do that. Yeah, with the development of the 3D printing technology, we're not limited by the materials utilized when the engines were developed. We can incorporate the new technology of super alloys that we can allow for a higher quality product.
There is a real falsehood that the newer turbines are more reliable, that the newer turbines are cleaner and more efficient. And that's not necessarily true, because when you look at the grand scheme of things of any turbine engine, it doesn't matter if it's industrial, marine, or aircraft, what matters is the reliability. So in 10 years' time, I encourage everybody who's operating the mature turbine product lines, if they're meeting your horsepower requirements now, today, keep running. Companies like the S&S group of companies, we can keep those turbine products operating reliably, efficiently, and with the emerging technologies, 3D printing of hot section components, and designing better replacement components for those turbines, we can keep them running longer and better than their original application.
As the world moves forward, so does S&S and Maddex Turbines. Together, they're committed to the task of propelling their customers into the future, taking you forward.